What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the GINN podcast. This is your host, GWeezy11. And on this episode, man, it's going to be a crazy one. This one's going to be pretty interesting. Very inspiring, I should say, right off the bat. But I just want to take the time, as always, as like I always do. Y'all probably get annoyed of it. But appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate all the freaking shares, likes, all the Instagram love. Recently, I've been doing podcasts and y'all been showing a lot of love, and I really appreciate it. I'm not stopping. Trust me, we got a ton more guests coming on. I got some lined up next month. I should add is going to be a crazy one too. I got, I'm gonna save that for the last episode of February. But yeah, we got some crazy ones next month. Yeah, we'll fucking get into it. On this episode, we got Hector, right?
Yes, sir.
Hector, what's up, man? How you been?
What's up? Good, man. Blessed.
Oh, that's what's up. I first want to get into like how we basically just the back end of everything, bro. Like how we met. So I'll start off, man. I was just talking to you off air about seeing a video on Twitter about basically just you in an interview and like what you're doing, how it came about. And I right off the back, I saw and I was just like, damn, this is definitely different. I'm not too sure if you know anybody outside of yourself and maybe your group that is actually doing it, but it was the first time I've ever seen anybody kind of do the things that you're doing. We'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, I saw that video. And then of course we just talked about it too as well. Your older brother has been a huge supporter of the podcast, and he had just messaged me one day saying to look at just your website, your IG page, and went on to it. And I was just like, wait, I've seen this before. You look very familiar because I've seen your video. So I was just like, no, that's a no-brainer for me. I definitely want to know a little bit more about you, about the story, the whole process. Like it was just first, like I said before, it was just inspiring just to hear the actual story. But yeah, enough of me talking, man. But yeah, how did we'll first get into? You say you're from San Antonio, right?
Yes, sir. I'm actually born in Rock Island, Illinois.
Okay.
And then we moved to San Antonio, and ever since then, it's just been here 25 years of my life.
Yeah. Did you what side of town did you kind of grow up on?
So I grew up on the west side of town, which would be my elementary school was Brewer, and then my high school ended up being Lanier High School.
Oh, okay.
So I was a Vogue.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I grew up like, I guess. I mean, are you familiar with the Southwest side?
I'm familiar with the Southwest side. My cousin of mine went to Southwest.
Okay.
And I actually have I had mentioned I was having breakfast. Well, I was having lunch with one of my guys. His name's Michael De Leon.
Yeah, okay.
And he was like, I told him what podcast I was going to be on. And he's like, hey, I think he knows my girl. They're like, we all hang out.
Yeah.
Wendy? Sorry, Mike, if you're listening.
You would have to show me a picture, bro.
Yeah, his name's Mike De Leon, and he just got engaged to his fiance.
Yeah.
And I told him I was gonna be on here. He's like, dude, it's super tight.
Yeah.
And I reached out to my brother. He told me to.
Show me a picture, man. After I want to know whenever you're done. But that's crazy. No, like I was just saying before, man. There's a lot of supporters on here, especially from the Southwest side. And just the movement, man, is crazy to me. But I mean, it's all genuine from my side, man. I've always told people that this episode is just to spread the knowledge of value that I have in my head. Whether if it's, I mean, I got podcast episodes ranging from like credit card information, buying cars, freaking. I got my barber on here. Like,
I seen that.
It's literally about anything and everything that I can personally think about that will help people out. I mean, it's just the way I am. But as far as you growing up, I mean, were there any type of hardships you faced or anything like that? Yeah. That kind of.
I think so. I grew up in the church. My dad was I would say like a custodian at a church, and for the most part, I live a humble life.
Yeah.
Weren't the richest, and then I lived in one of the poorest zip codes in San Antonio. So that for me was I guess you could say already, like I was already on.
Yeah,
I was already it was a struggle already.
Yeah.
So it was kind of hard growing up, but like I said, I grew up in the church. So my parents would always be like, "Man, let's go to church." I was always in the church. If I got in trouble at school, it was like, "Oh, we're gonna go paint the parking lot. We're gonna go pick up trash. We're gonna go do, a whole bunch of stuff." And my dad, he's he was a man of God, and today he's like till today he's still a man of God. He's always been, in the Word,
Hmm.
going to church.
No, that's good, man. I don't know if you saw, checked out the page or anything like that, but I recently had a good friend of mine, Stephanie. Shout out to Stephanie Juarez, but she is same deal, man. She was brought up as far as being in the church, and we had a crazy like debatable conversation about pursuing like going to church, reading your Bible, just different things like that. And I personally was on. I'll get into a little story after I say this, but um, so I when I was younger, my man, I would say about 5 to 10, I would go to church like every Sunday, sometimes Wednesdays, and I think when we moved from a part of town to the southwest side, that's when everything changed. She got a different job. It was like very, very. It was hard for her to kind of get us back into a routine where we did go to church, and then kind of just fell off from there. But yeah, I think for me it was always it was just always there. So I told the story of how I hadn't been to church for damn near, I would say about 10, 12 years. And then I recently went maybe about 2, 3 years ago. And that gap, I guess, I have no idea, but the pain that I felt outside of the church, like I just bawled my eyes out. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like I have no idea what was going on. And yeah, man, it was just a crazy situation just to take that gap from 10 to 12 years, go to a church. Um,
And felt the
and
way you
then
felt.
and then felt the way I felt. But
Yeah.
I think I think I was just always resistance towards I guess the feelings that I was feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the just everything in general that happened when I was younger, and then after high school to go back into a church and then hear somebody say, I have no idea who it was in this huge ass crowd, and just have he say that something that connects with me was just like top tier, man. It was crazy. It was crazy how it all works.
It's
But
God.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's just want to do a little back end of as far as like the previous episodes because we did get talking to it, but so you've been going to church ever
Yeah.
since?
So I was actually so the story of how I grew up in the church, and then at the age of 16, 17, I was kicked out of church.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So I was kicked out of church, and when I was kicked out of church, I felt like at that time I needed the church,
Yeah.
and the church wasn't there, and so I turned to drugs. I turned to getting high. I was playing football at my high school, and I wasn't the best, but I played football.
Yeah, yeah. So you were doing drugs and playing football?
Yeah, I was playing football,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was through football and through like the school influences and the guys there at the school that I started, smoking weed, and I had to support the habit.
Yeah, yeah. Of
So
course,
that's
of course.
where most of it all came from. Like
Mhm.
not having a place to go, not having a place to hang out, not having that mentor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not being part of a group. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? A family. I guess for me that was very like that was something that really like
Yeah, it definitely
pushed me away.
changes. Yeah, it definitely changes you. Was there anything after that that you kind of went through too as well, or is just
No, it was really that. So like, man, like being kicked out of a church, man. I grew up that church my whole life. So
yeah,
it's
that's
like,
the weird part is just you've been doing this your whole life, and then you kind of end up doing something bad, and then you just everything shifts, right?
yeah. Well, I just feel like being a teenager, you hear about weed and
Yeah.
your friends got it, but you're kicked out, and I was like, man, like, oh, this like God really loved me. You know what I mean? Like, what
Yeah.
am I supposed to do? And then from there, I just started experimenting with drugs and hanging out with the wrong crowd, and then it took off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's crazy how people can not to use you as an example or a bad example, but
Go
just
ahead.
doing so good, and then they just something clicks, and then they have that as far as like a drug, and then it just goes down, um, just a bad rabbit hole. Some people don't even get out of that; they stay like that for the rest of their lives. And I've seen people that way, and it sucks, man. How these things can actually just be addictive.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was no, thank God I never got into heroin, but I sold heroin. I never got into man, once or twice I tried cocaine, but it wasn't thank God it was never a habit.
Yeah.
Marijuana,
It's legal now in some
Yeah.
states.
yeah. I mean, I just sometimes I talk to my mentors and my pastor, and I'm
Yeah.
like, man, You know, I'm still on federal probation as we speak. So for me, it's a little difficult. You know,
Yeah.
it's I can, like, if I'm going out of state, I got to check in. If I got to do any of that out of the city, I got to check in. So a lot of requirements, but for the most part, you know, marijuana has always been a struggle, but it's a gateway drug. You know,
Yeah.
it's a little. I mean, to some people, it's a gateway drug. You know, you can argue that, but yeah.
How did you, if you don't mind me asking, how did you get into the whole federal probation thing?
So once you,
You don't have to go into
no.
detail.
Once you catch a federal case, they usually, when you get sentenced in a federal case, you usually get like a mandatory 3 years, mandatory 5 years, you know, mandatory 1 year. Don't really know the guidelines on there, but
Yeah.
so I was sentenced, and then after that, I had a mandatory 3 year probation. So right now, I'm serving a mandatory 3 year probation.
I gotcha.
But
Gotcha. So you were incarcerated at one point in time?
yes,
Okay, I gotcha. Well, I guess that leads me to my next question, man. First, I want to ask 412, right? That's what it
yeah,
says?
412
412 threads.
threads.
So how did you come up with that name? And then is there like any signification with that name or anything like that?
Yeah, 412's. So at 412, based off a verse, 1 Timothy 4:12, and that verse I actually learned when I was going to, like, you would call like youth services at my old church. So they had this one verse they would always say, you know, 1 Timothy 4:12, and it says, "Do not let anyone look down on you,
Yeah.
because you are young, but set an example for the believers, you know, in speech, life, love, purity, and faith." So for me, that was a big part, you know, because I was just getting out of federal prison, and I'm like, man, I sold drugs my whole life,
Yeah.
from 16 to 20, 27, 28. So I was just like, man, what am I gonna do? You know?
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
Times change.
Wake up when you want.
Obviously, technology has probably changed too.
Yeah. So it was just like, what am I gonna do when I get out? So, you know, I started 412, and that's how it came about. That's where I got the name from, 1 Timothy 4:12.
Yeah. Gotcha. So we of course, I saw the Instagram, I mean the Twitter video, and it kind of just explained everything that how it comes about, how you're doing it. So if you want, explain to me how, like, just everything that you actually do with 412, and then I mean, why do you want to do it in the first place?
So we started, kind of like, to go back a little bit. My church reached out to me. You're like, hey man, we know you just got out of jail. We're excited about, you know, what God is doing. Would you like to share your testimony?
Yeah.
So they asked me to share my testimony, but before they did, I had already been working on 412. You know, I was like, man, I need to do something. You know, I had some money put up. I had some stuff that, you know, from before I went in, and I was in doing stuff I shouldn't have, you know, put some stuff up. So I was like, man, I need to use this money.
Yeah.
You know, I need to use it for good. And I started 412. You know, I reached out to my PO, and I just gave her the idea. You know, shout out to my PO. She
Thanks. So you have to. Well, I guess that's. Well, my whole thing was like, if you don't mind, real quick, saying like why you have to let your PO probation officer know that you're doing something like 412.
Well, it's not that it's just her blessings, you know, and sometimes, a lot of times when you're on federal probation, you got to report a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay.
So you give you an online check thing, and they ask you where you're working at, what you're doing, your other different forms of income.
I got you. Okay.
That's something that's mandatory. So, you know, I reached out to her, and thank God to my PO, man. She's amazing, bro. A lot of times, you know, POs can be really that. It can be agent, you know, they can be I don't know, I think she says agent of chaos or something like that. But she's really been super helpful, man. She's introduced me to a lot of people. She's always given me like, hey, reach out to this judge and reach out to this person. And so shout out to her. I know she watches a lot of her stuff, so I'll share your stuff on my Facebook.
But just to go back, I know a lot of people previously that have had probation officers that were dicks.
Dude.
Dicks, man. Like they wouldn't let them, they probably wouldn't even let them do what you're doing. It's for a good cause. And man, it's just.
Yeah, she lets me travel. She lets me do everything.
Yeah, the traveling
That's amazing too.
Traveling too.
To her. But yeah, so started the 412 and stuff, and now she's been helping me a lot too. Very helpful.
So what was the main reason why or just go into like what you actually do with
Okay.
412.
So what we actually do is we sell shirts. We sell merchandise. And we have 2 shirts out right now. We have some new ones. We have a new one coming out at the end of the month, and then with the video.
Mhm.
And so for every T-shirt you purchase, 20% of that shirt goes to helping us buy books, buy Bibles. I write to inmates. I buy postage stamps. So I talk to some inmates over a text app called Secure Us. So it's been a road, but it allows me that 412 allows me to fully focus on that. Be able to network, be able to write to these guys. Just yesterday I was at the post office, up and about, running, getting all kinds of stuff, making sure the box fits. And yesterday was our 4th prison that we sent out to. So yesterday we sent to Corn City, Texas, which
Yeah,
is
gotcha.
a GEO's facility there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was actually incarcerated there. So, and I think for me that was a special day.
Yeah,
for
that's
me,
a huge step, man.
bro.
That's a huge step. I think in my eyes, just to go from actually being in a federal prison like that to actually going ahead and supporting and sending stuff off. I mean, you can just look at that address. You can be like, damn,
Yeah.
I was legit in that
Oh
place.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was behind the wall. I actually have a picture of it when I'm walking out too, so that's been amazing. I'll post that later on, but
Yeah, yeah, I
yeah, it's
gotcha.
been amazing.
How does so take me through the process as far as people buy a t-shirt, 20% goes off to the 20, I'm assuming 20% gets set aside and then you purchase books. Um now
Really more, because our sales are they're good, but
yeah, yeah.
they're not what a lot of the times. So what I've done lately for these 4 months, we started in October,
Okay,
and
okay.
so November was the first month that we sent. We sent to Bastrop the first month, and then Beaumont the second month, and then Texarkana the third month, and then this month was Carn City.
I gotcha. Um, I know you mentioned off air before, but it's mostly Bibles, right? And then some are other books too as well.
Mostly Bibles and literature.
Mhm.
So lately, just been God. I just been meeting with like different authors. Some of the authors that seen us on Spectrum, reached out to me too with
Yeah.
a book. Guy by the name of Chalmer Williams sent me his book too, and it's called Fighting for a Laugh, and it's a good book that I'm reading right now. And he donated that book to me, and I sent it off after I kept my copy. I sent off a copy, but yeah, most of it is Bibles, and then most of it is Bibles, and then some books like Christian literature that they can read. That'll guide them to the Bible. To God.
Do y'all ever send like any other books as far as like um just like financial literacy, just like not random stuff, but just stuff that'll actually kind of get the minds going of the incarcerated?
Not yet, but I'm looking into a Christian, financial book.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want it to be Christian. Like I want to lead them to that relationship, because for me it's important.
Mhm.
It's important because even being on this podcast today, to you it might be so simple, but to me it's just how God's been able to open doors, man.
Oh, trust me,
And
man. I
it's
had to
amazing.
just to. I don't mean to cut you off, but man, it's like I'm gonna keep saying, man, the whole podcast, it's inspiring, bro. Like I'm telling you, my whole thing here is I just want to get this information out because the things that you're doing, like I'm telling you, I don't think this is my first time seeing this actually happen. Like no one's actually doing this. They might, but this is the first time I'm seeing it. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's just a badass job on your end or your whole team actually.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a small team, man. Shout out
Yeah.
to Steven too. He's like my PR. Brisanyo, if he's watching. Shout out to Juan, my older brother.
Yeah,
He's my
shout out to Juan,
design.
man, for sending me his information because after that, it just clicked. So,
Shout out
yeah.
to Eddie too. I seen Eddie being on here too, man.
Oh, yeah.
Eddie's a good guy, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, speaking of that, you were just at
The gym.
the gym.
Davies Entertainment.
How was that, man? I saw that was pretty cool.
So I sent him a friend request, and then he sent me one back.
Yeah.
And then I shot him a DM real quick, and the rest was history. He invited me, and I was able to gift him the merch, and I love boxing.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been most of the boxing matches. I was at Canelo. I was at Barrios.
Yeah.
I seen him knock that guy out, and then I was at Ryan Garcia's, and then I'll be at
Where was that at?
Ryan Garcia was in Dallas.
Yeah, okay.
At
Okay.
the American Airlines.
Yeah.
And I actually went with my pastor. Shout out to my pastor, Sam Burnell.
That's pretty cool,
One
man.
of my pastors. Yeah. So it was tight. and then I'll be at another one on March 20th.
You, I'm assuming you went to boxing fights like before COVID, right?
Not really.
No? Oh,
Yeah, I would
okay.
watch him. See, I was so busy in the streets, I really didn't have time.
I got you.
And it was just like, I mean, I had the resources and stuff, but I wasn't focused on that, you know, and I was going through a lot.
Yeah. No,
selling drugs and trying to be a sugar daddy and do stuff it's just dumb stuff,
hey,
man, for real.
I appreciate the honesty, bro. That's No, the only thing I was gonna ask is like just the transition from seeing boxing fights before COVID and then after COVID is just crazy. Because I've said on the podcast before, I went to Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia March of 2019, I think, in Dallas as well. And that was at the AT&T Stadium, packed, bro. Like I'm talking about packed.
Yeah.
And then when I'm assuming you went to the Mario fight, so Javante Davis and then Cruz, and it was just like, I mean, there was people, but it wasn't as intense as before. So
I know, man.
It was definitely a shift, and that was actually the first fight that they let fans in the stadium.
Yeah,
I mean, well, the Alamo Dome, like in the whole United States. So
yeah,
it was pretty cool to have that come here. So
yeah, I was at the Canelo one too. There was a lot of people.
Yeah, I went to that one too.
I had some floor seats. I took my brother and my pastor again and a couple friends, and it was tight.
You know what? I do remember because I was following Juan at that time. I think he had followed me October or November of last year, and I remember him posting.
Yeah.
I remember him posting that y'all were on the floor. So damn,
it was tight.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. But to get back to it, man, we have to go on little tangents, but. What was the whole reasoning behind like starting the whole 412 movement and sending off Bibles and Christian literature?
Well, like to kind of start off, so a lot of times, a lot of the guys in there, they're in there because they sold drugs, they were moving guns and all kinds of stuff. And I feel like, when you're living that lifestyle, you affect relationships in ways that you don't really think. And when I say that in the sense of, for me, I can only speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But, when I was selling drugs and doing stuff I wasn't supposed to, I was dishonest. I was a cheater. I was a liar. I was everything that I shouldn't have been, And you get incarcerated and your significant other, eventually, takes off on you.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you don't think about that. You're incarcerated. You don't think about that because you're living the lifestyle. Man, I ain't tripping. I got girls and I got this and I got that. So eventually, the people that were supposed to be there for you, and that you should have been loyal to, well, eventually they get tired of it. They take off, man.
Yeah.
And then, there's some guys in there that are stressed the whole time and they don't got no one to talk to and stuff. So for me, it was like, I remember seeing that. I remember not only seeing that, but seeing going to church and them not having like people to play the drums and stuff. So the federal prison is different from a state. I mean, there's a lot of politics. I know some people downplay like federal prison, but it's a different environment,
Mm-hmm.
But it was just a way to give back, a way to write. And I saw so many people that were in there, man, that didn't get letters like I did. For the first couple months, because, for the first couple months, I got a lot of letters. People wrote to me, but after a while, it died down,
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what inspired me to, communicate to these guys and write to them and send them pictures and stuff.
Yeah, I would assume people get lonely, bro. Like it's
a family within itself though, too, because they're like the Christian brothers are in there and the Christian brothers are for real, man. Like you would think that like, oh man, but these Christian brothers, they'll call you out, man. You're living with these guys.
Yeah.
Not only that, but like, the politics and the gangs and they all take care of each other. So it does get lonely, but it's different. Like I was in there with Sam Hurd. I don't know if you remember Sam Hurd. He was at Breckenridge. He played for the Cowboys and he was like, he was in charge of what you would call he was in charge of like the recreation. So we had flag football in there. We had all kinds of stuff, man.
That's crazy. What?
Yeah, he had a drug charge. That's all I know.
Okay.
So yeah, it was tight, man. It was a whole bunch of other people in there that were like real legit.
That's interesting, bro. I didn't even.
So I was at a low. So there's a USP, No,
Oh,
ADX.
he's from here. Sorry.
Yeah, there's an ADX, USP, medium, and low, and then a camp. So I was at the low,
Damn.
and so it was something else. I seen some crazy fights, man. I seen some dudes get busted up with locks and socks in their hands, and
Shit. Hey,
it's
so
crazy.
some of the things, man, like one thing I want to know is like obviously, sure you know what TikTok is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like people on
Yeah.
TikTok like
I'll
are
show you a
in,
picture. Yeah, I know what you mean.
are in prison or just jail in general. And they
Yeah.
have cell phones, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure there's ways to get around it. There are ways to actually put them in, and I'm just like, wait, what?
I mean, they don't call me, but I know people in there with cell phones. You know what I mean? But
It's funny, bro. It's crazy how it works, right? Like, or just
I get videos from my friend's cousin, and I get videos from my different people of
Yeah.
them cooking. You know,
yeah.
of them. I get different pictures from time to time. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of the guys they'll call somebody else and they'll send me stuff. But yeah, man,
No,
it's for real.
Trust me. I've seen it, bro. Like, but even at that, I've seen cooking videos, obviously, of course, dancing videos too as well up in there. But it's just wild to see that people just getting that type of just having a cell phone in jail. You would assume that it's not there, but I mean, there's ways. I'm sure there is. So
There's two ways,
yeah.
but you'd be surprised how they get them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen movies, so
Yeah.
I would assume it's
Yeah.
yeah. I would assume.
I mean, yeah, not everybody, yeah.
But to go back to the whole Incarcerated, the sending the books off, when you actually, so it's every single month. So you
Every single month. Yeah, at first we wanted to do it every week.
Yeah.
And then the sales weren't like I wanted to. The first month they were real good, and first month they were good. We've sold about a total of 120 shirts. So it's really not, it's not that crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw this yesterday. We sent about 159 worth of Bibles. So I mean, a lot of it's money that I'm putting in as well. So but it's like when you love something, it's not work. It's something you love, and I take time writing to most of them. When they shared my story at first at Kansas 5, so many families, so many mothers, brothers, cousins reached out to me, man. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was inspiration to be like, hey, can you write to my cousin? Can you write to my loved ones? But we found a way to make it quicker. So we're going to announce that Sunday, but I'll announce it here if you want.
Yeah, I think we will release this episode by Wednesday. So, I mean, I'm sure you'll do it Sunday.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah, you can say it.
So what we'll be doing now is that you'll be able to go to our website, download the PDF file, print it out, and then send it to your loved ones. And so with the PDF file is my testimony and a letter, and then it'll have our official PO box. So you'll be able to send it to your loved ones. A lot of people reach out to me like, hey, can you write to my loved ones?
Yeah.
Hey, can you write out to my, my cousin, my brother, my boyfriend, or my girlfriend? Believe it or not, there's a lot of girls incarcerated too in federal prison. And so it'll be our testimony, and then it'll have a PO box, and then they'll write to us. So instead of me having to write each letter, because I write to a lot of people, some people don't respond. Some people ain't trying to hear it. So I write to them, and then so they'll be able to print that out, send it to their loved ones, and they'll be able to write to us.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's very, very simple, easy. Yeah, man. I'll actually put the website on my actual YouTube video down in the description below. Yeah, of course, man. But yeah, it's a long process, man. How's the whole process been? I mean, I know you finished just talking about it, but just to see you go from what you said, October, November till now, when you kind of sending these books off to the fourth one.
Yeah. Fourth prison.
What's the whole process been like?
Man, getting acquainted with the guys at the mailbox days, at the mail place, at the post office, they see me all the time, and they're like, "What's up, man? What's up, 412?"
Yeah.
And like yesterday, the lady was like, "Man, let me get your info. You always come. I never get it, and hopefully I'll be able to write to her brother." So just, man, everybody I tell, every time I see him, I'm like, "Hey, man, go check out 412threads.com." All right, cool, man. So now I try to carry around cards with me, and I ran out. 'Cause I pass them out to everybody.
Do it,
Pass them out
man.
to everybody.
Do it, man. I was actually reading, not reading, but I was watching a podcast. I fucking don't remember who it actually was. No, it was Gary Owen and Joe Coy. I don't know if you know who Gary
I
Owen
don't.
is.
I
You know who Joe Coy is?
No.
Don't? Okay. They're comedians though. But Gary Owen had a podcast and he was saying that
Gary Owen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done videos with like Kevin Hart
Yeah, I know who he
and
is.
stuff like that. But apparently, well, Gary Owen's been in the fucking comedy business for like damn near 25 years now. He was first bringing up, he was first like kind of going to these stand-ups early 2000s, and that's when Joe Coy started getting onto the scene. Apparently, Joe Coy would have like a stack of like cards like this, just like business cards, and he would sell like DVDs, and he would just give them out, bro, like sometimes for free. So I mean, it's just do it, man. Print
Yeah.
more if you can,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
to
I'm
get
print more.
just to get the word
Some
out.
stickers. I'll slap stickers downtown. If you ever see my sticker, man, tag us.
Yeah.
All over the Riverwalk.
Hell yeah.
I like to go downtown and just slap them wherever I can.
No, that's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Well, shit, man. Is there what else do you do besides the actual 412 the
Right now we do that. So I'm fully focused on 412, but I also do construction too. Shout out to Hand in Hand Construction, Jose Fuentes, man. Whenever I'm not doing ministry, you know, because I consider it's right now 412 is a business, but I consider it ministry because like I'm always out and about, you know, I'm always reaching out to people. But yeah, I work construction 2 or 3 times out of the week. And so I stay busy. I try to stay busy. If I'm not working construction, I'm networking. You know, I just met with a couple of pastors. Another pastor by the name of Jimmy Robles, man, he's feeding the homeless, doing so much in the 78207 zip code. And I think for me, that's been important. And Jose from Spectrum, Jose Arredondo, he's the guy that you saw.
He
shared my story.
He was the one interviewing you?
Yeah.
I got you.
Man, I gotta plug him in with you, but good guy, man. And I had reached out to him at first when we first made Kins 5, and he didn't reach out to me. And then later on, he reached out and he shared this story. And for me, it was amazing because he's from that same zip code. You know, we went to school together. He was younger, but yeah, he reached out and now he's doing a lot of things, man. To me, he's someone that inspires me because he's young, but man, he's got so much West Side, like so much pride for San Antonio and our side.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, man, why you want to be part of the West Side?
No, man.
We're so prideful about that. But I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just, to me, it's been a lot. It's been, guys have opened a lot of doors. I got some other people that I'll be meeting up with soon. And, you know, it's kind of a surprise, but man, God is really opening doors.
Yeah, man, just to go back, a lot of people, I wouldn't say they kind of throw shade on the Southwest side. I'm sure it's every side of San Antonio that you freaking grow up in, and it's I mean, the Southwest side of San Antonio saved my life, bro. Like moving from a side of town in San Antonio, I don't even know if it's called like the West Side or anything like that, but it was definitely a bad area, and then kind of moved to the Southwest side, and it was like whole thing changed. Friends, school. I mean, it was just a culture difference within the city. It was just weird, but yeah, man, I've never thrown shade on Southwest because like I met my friends there. I freaking met girls there. Like it's just like it's just cool to me, man. Like I always shout out Southwest side of high school, Southwest side, Southwest High School, whatever the case may be, because I mean it's where you grow up, man.
It's sometimes I'm on this side of town. I'm on I-10 and 1604, and I won't tell them what high school I go to, so they don't kick me out. But nah, it's fine. But yeah, man.
Well, Dan, is there anything else you wanna talk about before we head up out here?
Yeah, I mean, I think just for me, like where we're going with this, you know. So,
yeah, of course.
So 412 for me is just another step, you know, into what we want to do. So for me, it's important to be able to take back. I feel like in federal prisons, they have church there. And a lot of the church is run by the inmates. So, like, they have people that, you know, their own inmates play the drums, their own inmates play the piano. And I think for me, it's been like, you know, we haven't allowed them to get that full full experience of a service. You know, just because they're incarcerated, it doesn't mean that, you know, they can't have church.
Yeah.
And I think for me, you know, my overall goal is to bring church to the prisons as well. There's another ministry that does that. It's a bigger ministry, and they ask for a certain amount of dollars for the Bibles, but we're not doing that. We just, you know, purchase a merchandise and we'll send the Bibles for you. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, we have 2 shirts. One's a work in progress, and I'll get you both of them to you.
Oh man, I appreciate it, bro. You don't have to, but
March. So one of the Bibles, one of the shirts is work in progress, and it's based off of Philippians 1:6. So he who began a good work in you will carry it out to completion to the day of his return. So I think
got you.
Work in progress is can relate to everybody. You know, everybody's a work in progress. Everybody's got, you know, things going on. You know, you can be a work in progress and working out and, you know, going to the gym, eating right, or, you know, even at work, you know, you're trying to get to that position that you want to get to.
Yeah.
So for me, that related a lot, you know, because I'm still a work in progress. I'm not perfect, you know, but shout out to everybody that's been supporting 412. And then the other shirt is based off of Hebrews 13:3. You know, it says, do not forget about those that are incarcerated, as they too are the body of Christ. You know, and for me, that's important. You know, a lot of times we forget about those that are incarcerated. Once they're incarcerated, you know, they don't write to them. They don't reach out to them. So for me, that was important. And we have a third design. We have 2 new designs coming out. So the third one will be well connected. And that one, it gives the perception that we're moving something other than Bibles. But it's going to be a movie, man. We got a little helicopter in the video.
That's what's up, man.
It's going to be crazy. We got a rugged tire shop that looks like a, you know, one of the old spots we used to use. Yeah. And it's going to be crazy. And then the next one will be a women design. So, you know, because about like 60% of the people that purchase our merchandise were women, you know, and that was amazing within itself. So, you know, I know that they're supporting. I know they're trying to help us out.
Yeah.
So it's, to me, it means a lot.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. I just want to take the time right now to, man, thank you for coming down. Like I'm gonna say it again. The whole thing was just so freaking inspiring, man. Especially just someone from being from San Antonio, man. I'll always show love to San Antonio. Brought me up who I am today.
Sure.
Just to see someone within the community doing this and actually, I mean, like you said before, some of the money is coming out of your own pocket.
Sure.
So just doing that was it's a good job, man. It's gonna go a long way, bro. It's gonna go a long way.
You, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course.
I look forward to inviting you a lot of stuff too. We're gonna be doing like giving back to the kids in the summertime. You know, the kids are not in school.
Yeah.
So it's hard for them to eat. You know, a lot of them rely on school lunches. So we'll be doing like, you know, giving food to the kids and the homeless and stuff. And I reached out to Eddie too. Eddie was down with this, so it was just amazing, man. I look forward to
send the information my way, bro.
Sure,
I will get my gang of crew. Well, yeah, they always support everything that I do, so we'll probably pull up, bro. We'll show support too.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, of course. Dang, man, that's yeah. We'll conclude the podcast right there, guys. This was a dope one, man. I got to know a little bit about Hector, a little bit about myself, the whole movement as far as 412. Do me a favor though, go ahead. 412 Threads, right? Instagram.
Yeah, 412 Threads Instagram, 412 Threads Facebook, and then www.412threads.com.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and link all that in the actual YouTube description. I'm gonna tag him on the YouTube description. I'm gonna tag him on the Instagram. Pick the once this episode release, and yeah, guys, we'll get you to it, man. Like I said, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Hopefully everything's gonna go smooth, bro. Like yes, the amount of traction you're going, especially coming from San Antonio, is definitely a good thing.
Appreciate
bro.
It. Thank you for having me, man.
Of course. Well, guys, that's gonna be it. That's gonna conclude this episode of the GINN podcast. This is your host, Gilbert Sanchez, aka G Weezy. One more time for Hector. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.